Pam Reeves.
Here.
Paul Doring.
Here.
Michelle Deasy. Donald Williams.
Present. Present.
Thank you. And we do have a confirmed absence from Director Eisenberg. We do have a quorum for NVTA-TA.
Thank you. Next, adoption of the agenda. Any changes that we would like to see in the taxing authority agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve it. Sedgley and Washington. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right. Oh, thank you. All right. Public comment. Is there any public comment as it relates to the taxing authority? Doesn't look like it. Anybody online by any chance? Okay. No comment there. Chairperson and board member updates. I don't have any for the TA. Amber. This is the taxing authority one. This is the one that's supposed to go quickly and all that. So, all right. If there are no comments, executive director. All right, then let's jump right into presentations. 8.1, a project overview from the City of St. Helena on Measure T, Measure U projects. Oh, if you wanted one on the taxing authority, you missed. But the next meeting, which is going to immediately follow this one, it's a little confusing because we have two entities, the taxing authority and the regular NVTA. So we'll get you. Don't worry.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. All right. Welcome. Oh, go ahead. I guess.
Good afternoon, board members, agency representatives. My name is Mario Traverso. I'm project manager with the City of St. Helena Public Works. I administer our Measure T, Measure U program, and I will be providing a quick update on our program and our projects. Today, we'll talk about our pavement management program in general, some of our completed projects, a look at our PCI assessment and projects in progress. Next slide, please. Our pavement management program in 2024 and then continuing in 2025, we had a major reboot of our pavement management program, which has allowed us to complete both a significant streets and a significant quantity of streets. The approach focused on alternating years of pavement overlay versus maintenance treatments. We've also helped our staff have a more robust maintenance and crack sealing operation, which is assisted. As we're moving forward with our pavement management strategy, we're moving out of a pavement crisis phase and looking forward to the future, utilizing Measure T, Measure U for significant projects other than just pavement, including Class 1 trails, storm drain infrastructure, and bike and ped facilities. Next slide, please. Completed projects. In late 2024, we completed our annual pavement restoration project. This was a pavement-focused year. We completed 4.1 miles of resurfacing within the city. We tackled quite a few neighborhoods as well as major arterial streets, and we focused on streets that had condition gaps within them. Altogether, the project was $2.65 million. Next slide, please. Here's a couple of pictures from that project as well. Some of our significant streets, Hunt Avenue, Spring Street, amongst others. Next slide, please. Another project we completed was our downtown sidewalk paver repair project. This project included removing and resetting all the pavers through our downtown corridor that had been uplifted due to tree roots, and that project came in at $365,000. Next slide, please. We just completed our 2025 pavement restoration project. This was a more maintenance-focused project. The centerpiece of the project was the reconstruction, though, of South Crane Avenue, which had not been resurfaced since the 50s, 60s. We expanded the roadway, added bike lanes. It was a really fantastic project. We also microsurfaced significant neighborhoods in town. We completed some striping projects, some pedestrian crossing improvement projects, and drainage components. It was kind of a big catch-all project. And we also deployed for the first time in the city traffic calming measures, speed humps throughout the city as a pilot program. This project was $1.6 million. Next slide, please. Here's a couple of pictures from the microsurfacing efforts, our South Crane Avenue resurfacing, and then our speed humps as well. Next slide. Our pavement condition, we've had a significant increase from the beginning of 2023 till the end of 2024. We increased from 47 to 65. This was following our re-strategizing of our pavement management program. And last year, we actually were cited as most improved in the county, or I'm sorry, in the nine counties for an 11-point increase from 52 to 63, which we're excited about. Our targets are 75 to 80, which we do see as possible within the next few years. Next slide, please. Projects in progress. We have some significant projects happening currently. We have broken ground on the downtown sidewalk rehab project, phase 1A. This is replacing the downtown sidewalks from from Pine Street to Adams. This is going to include new curb, gutter, sidewalk, trees, furniture, infrastructure. And this project is primarily funded through OBAG, but with a contribution from Measure U and about $500,000. Next slide, please. We have a few projects that are shovel ready that we are preparing to move forward. We're currently installing new utilities in Oak Avenue through the whole corridor in preparation for a surface project, which will repave the road and replace curb, gutter, sidewalk. This project will also coincide with the impending Vine Trail corridor through St. Helena. We are making preparations to possibly progress the downtown sidewalk rehab project, phase 1B. This will replace the sidewalks from Adams all the way down to Pope Street. We were encouraged by the cost that we got from the phase 1A and looking at the feasibility of moving that forward. And then as well, we're going to proceed with a 2026 pavement restoration project. Next slide. Thank you very much, and I'll answer any questions if you have any.
All right. Thank you for the report. Does the board have any questions? Yes.
No question. Well, maybe I do have a question. First, I want to congratulate you on getting the PCI score up so high. I'd love to see that happen in the county. It's a big, that's big movement, big progress on your part.
Thank
You said you re-strategized how your pavement program. Can you give me some of the key indicators that you found that were helpful?
Certainly. We found for years just relying significantly on PTAP and the PTAP analysis, our street saver analysis. Working with that, adding extra view, and then having people speak into those models that live in the city, work in the city, and we were just able to kind of take the the very kind of computer model and work it more so than we had in the past.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm just wondering if there's something that other jurisdictions can learn from that since we
Yeah.
were able to achieve so much.
And then like I said earlier, we also we're grouping our maintenance projects, which is including microsurfacing, concrete repairs, drainage repairs into one project, and then pretty much focusing only on overlay with as minimal concrete or extraneous work during those pavement years, and really utilizing the money for as much asphalt as possible.
And then one last question, when Measure U bonding becomes available, are you planning to cash in, if you will, and get on top of more projects? Or do you have an idea what your approach will be? And how much that bonding might look like for St. Helena?
Yeah, it has been a topic for our leadership, certainly. We do have some work to kind of figure out our strategy moving forward with our pavement management program as we are moving. Like I said earlier, we're taking care of the crisis moments. So I don't know what that looks like moving forward, but it's certainly an option that our leadership is considering.
Thank you.
Any other, go ahead.
I just want to follow up on that. I think one of the key points that we're finding is that we're finding more efficiencies in how we spend money. And when we do the overlays one year and then we do the focus on maintenance, we're able to focus more on what we're doing rather than a little bit more of a scattered project. And I do want to publicly commend Mr. Traverso for being really highly regarded in our community. Time and time again, he has found different combinations of funding, different combinations of projects to put together as a package. Sometimes he's discovered old plans that we didn't know we had. Just a lot of things that happen in a small town, frankly, with ongoing staff capacity issues. Mr. Traverso grew up in the area, so he's very proud of the traditions that we have in St. Helena. But I want to commend him because I think when you ask, well, what are the secrets? One of them is Mr. Traverso. So thank you.
Appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right.
But don't ask for a raise just yet.
And
Maybe come
other
over to the county.
jurisdictions shouldn't be looking to poach him.
Just to say we're hiring, so,
Yeah. Sometimes compliments can be counterproductive, but thank you. All right. Next up, we're going to get a report from the city of Calistoga. Is Calistoga here?
Here, I'm online here with you
Oh,
guys
you're
today.
online. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
And are you guys able to see my presentation quite yet?
We can certainly see the PowerPoint. Okay. Go ahead. Take it away.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to present to this board today. My name is Dave Farlizio. I'm the Deputy Public Works Director for the City of Calistoga. Today, I'll be providing an overview of our Measure U program and projects for the City of Calistoga, including how the city is utilizing Measure U funds and our planned work over the next several fiscal years. I'm going to cover how the funds are being used, projects that we've completed in this FY, and our planned projects through FY 28-29. Measure T and now Measure U continues to play an important role in Calistoga to maintain and improve our transportation infrastructure. Next slide, please. This slide summarizes the types of projects funded through Measure U as part of our 5-year work plan. These funds are primarily used for street and transportation improvements, including this long list of items here. Our approach has been to consistently maintain our higher PCI road segments and focus improvements on collector and arterial streets, which carry the majority of the traffic through our city. When we complete paving projects, we also look for opportunities to address related infrastructure needs at the same time, such as replacing drainage, damaged curb and gutter, repairing sidewalks, and installing ADA compliant curb ramps. This helps us maximize the value of each of our projects and minimizes the need to reopen streets later on. Next slide, please. So this is going to have a slight animation. So this is the last Measure T 5-year project plan that we submitted. And if you do one more click, it should bring in the actual update of what happened here. We could spend a lot of time looking at this map, and I do a lot of times, but why I wanted to include in this presentation is because you can see here that in the last 4 years, the city of Calistoga has done some type of maintenance treatment on over 80% of the city road segments. So we've had a major push as well, and it's been successful so far. Next slide, please. One of the major projects completed this fiscal year was the reconstruction of Lake Street between Grant Street and Silverado Trail. This project involved a full depth reconstruction rather than just a resurfacing. In addition to new pavement, improvements included concrete repairs, updated striping, bicycle facilities. We've got a class 2 bike lane in one direction and a class 3 with sharrows in the other direction, as well as a community-led speed cushion project that installed 4 sets of speed cushions along this road and other safety upgrades as well. The photos shown here illustrate the before condition over here on the left, where the road had a PCI of around 20. And then during construction over on the right, that's the full depth reconstruction truck there, and a drone shot in the middle of the completed roadway improvements. We have reported about $400,000 of Measure U funding on this project, with a total project cost of $1.5 million. Projects like this are a good example of how Measure U funds help us address streets that have reached the end of their useful life. Next slide, please. This is a screen capture from our Street Saver dashboard, which has been a great tool for us as well. It's been very encouraging to see the trending increase in our overall PCI since 2022, from 59 to 69 this year. It's worth mentioning here that to see this 10-point increase in the last 5 years, Calistoga has spent $2 to $3 million per year on streets capital improvement projects. And of that, the city receives approximately $700,000 a year from Measure U. Next slide, please. In addition to Lake Street reconstruction, several other projects were completed this year. These include 2-inch grind and overlays on 6 road segments, installation of a flashing pedestrian beacon and crosswalk at Brandon and Lincoln Avenue, as well as design work for future roadway improvements. These improvements support both transportation safety and mobility, particularly for pedestrians and cyclists. Next slide. Looking ahead to fiscal year 26-27, we're planning several potential projects. The primary street reconstruction project will likely either be Grant Street between Centennial Circle and the city limits, or Washington Street between 3rd Street and North Oak Street. We have 100% design plans for both of these projects, but final prioritization will depend on City Council priority and funding availability as we go through our budget season. Additional planned work includes continued progress on the Vine Trail extension along Lincoln Avenue, development of a multi-use pathway along Grant Street, which is tied to the street reconstruction by a city ordinance, and design work for the South Oak Bike and Pedestrian Bridge, as well as implementation of additional traffic calming projects. These efforts support both infrastructure and maintenance and improvements to active transportation connectivity. Next slide, please. For fiscal year 27-28, the city is planning the first phase of a larger pavement overlay project, and we're planning to use the Measure U bonding option to fund these phases. These phases will include overlay improvements on 15 streets. These types of pavement preservation projects are important because they allow us to extend the life of our streets and avoid the more costly full reconstruction earlier than it needs to be. We're also going to be considering pavement reconstruction work on Moore Avenue during this fiscal year, depending on how much is accomplished between Grant and Washington Street in previous years. And finally, for fiscal year 28-29, we'll be looking at the second phase of the pavement overlay project, construction of the South Oak Bike and Pedestrian Bridge potentially, and a potential gateway project, which we have 100% design plans for currently. These projects will help improve connectivity, safety, and the overall transportation network in Calistoga. And last slide, please. So in summary, Measure U funding continues to provide an essential resource for maintaining and improving Calistoga's transportation infrastructure. The program allows us to address aging streets, improve pedestrian and bicycle safety, maintain ADA compliance, and plan strategically for long-term infrastructure needs. We appreciate the Napa Valley Transportation Authority Board of Directors and their continued oversight and support of the program. Thank you for your time today, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
All right, thank you. Does the board have any questions or comments? All right. Oh, Director Alessio.
If no one else is going to say anything, again, I want to commend Calistoga Public Works Department for the work you're doing in terms of increasing the PCI score and also being mindful about what I'm hearing and seeing is that we're all kind of on the same page about creating safe communities, multi-mode communities. And at the end of the day, we know that quality roads create happy residents, right? Or happy roads, happy residents. So again, thank you for the work. If I understand correctly, or remember correctly, I think St. Helena's PCI was at 65 and Calistoga 69. Okay, so the race is on. We'll have to see how the other jurisdictions are doing. So thank you and great job.
Thank you very much.
All right. Oh, go ahead, Director Williams.
Yeah, the Public Works Department of Calistoga does a great job. I want to thank David for your presentation there. There you are. And great presentation. They work hard and people like Public Works and what they do. And they're complemented by the Active Transportation Advisory Committee. So that's very active, truly is active in Calistoga. And so the advisory committee works closely with Public Works and Council to try to make the transportation situation better and better in Calistoga. So good job up there.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Great. Any other comments? And I thank you for the report, and we will now move on to our third presentation, which is from the town of Yountville.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Rosalba Ramirez. I'm the Deputy Public Works Director for the town of Yountville. As soon as I can see the presentation, I will go ahead and get started. And I'll start presenting on the town of Yountville's official last Measure T project and kind of go over our plan for the future Measure U projects. Okay. Let's see, I think it's still, all right, I can officially see it now. So this first slide, our last Measure T project, the last road rehabilitation project we completed this year was for Washington Street, from Yonge Street all the way to the north town limits, and Weber Avenue, the full length, which is Vine Trail to Yonge Street. On the Measure T 5-year list or plan that gets approved, both streets are split up into different segments, but because Washington Street is the main street in town and Weber Avenue, where it crosses Washington, it's such an active intersection, we decided to move forward and do the entire street as one project. So we were able to incorporate the various segments that are listed in the 5-year Measure T plan. Before we started this project, Washington Street in the various segments had varying levels of PCI ratings. It was in pretty bad condition, but the average PCI of the whole segment was 65. And Weber Avenue, the two segments, were in very poor condition. One side was 29 PCI and the other side was 52. At the end of the project, this pulled our average town-wide PCI rating for our entire roadway network to an 82, which is the goal for both of our Measure T and Measure U projects, to get the lower rated PCI roads rehabbed first so that they fall into maintenance, and so we can just bring up that PCI of 82. And our goal is to try to maintain definitely above an 80, but around an 82 if possible. Next slide.
So much for the race.
Washington Street rehab for the Measure T was part of a larger project that we call the Washington Street Corridor. It was the largest project we've had in a handful of years, even larger in scope and cost than the south side of Washington Street from Yonge Street to the southern town limits. And so the entirety of just the Measure T rehab project, the work was just over 1.2 million at the end of the project. We did a standard advertisement. The low bid we received was from a company called Goodfellow Bros. And the project moved pretty quickly. We were done about October 30th. We did use other funds other than Measure T funds. We did spend the last couple of years building up our reserves because we knew we wanted to do, if we did Washington Street, we wanted to get it done in one go because all of our businesses and hotels are primarily on Washington Street. So we used just over 1.1 million of Measure T funds and then additional general funds. In addition to the roadway rehab work, we did some sidewalk and curb and gutter work in advance of the project using SB1 funds and other general funds as well. Next slide, please. Some of the construction highlights I want to kind of touch on and bring up are the way we approach the construction. Yountville was not very large. Washington Street is our main street. So we did let the contractor know that we wanted whatever segment of Washington Street that they ground out had to be paved back that same day. So that one, the disruption was less to the businesses and the hotels, but also the tourists. We presented that to them and they came back with a very quick schedule. They were able to finish the entirety of Washington Street and Weber Street within 5 shifts, so 3 days and 2 nights. And the night work that we allowed, we coordinated with the business owners to make sure it wasn't disruptive to any of the hotel guests. And it was very impressive to see. Some of the businesses were very impressed by the construction train, the grinding equipment in the front and not far behind them, the paving equipment. So by the end of the work shift, new drivable pavement. Next slide, please. And these are some of the before and after pictures, just to kind of paint the portrait of how bad the street was. Weber was significantly worse than Washington Street, and that's in the top left of the screen. And then the after is just below it. We do show the red brick, what we call an advisory lane, and I'll touch on that a little bit later in the presentation. But that was incorporated into Weber Avenue. And Washington Street, I try to capture in the photos some of the areas that were pretty bad, so you could kind of portray how well the rehab really brought that PCI up. Next slide, please. So part of the Washington Street corridor project, which was what the full rehab and sidewalk work was called, we closed some sidewalk gap closures. The biggest one we had was on Washington Street, just south of Madison, in front of 2 businesses that have been there for a long time. There was existing sidewalk just north of Padroni. Then there was a big gap of sidewalk in front of these 2 businesses, and then sidewalk again just south of Madison. So we went ahead and built sidewalk with the idea of inviting the outdoor seating areas for the businesses. We've just built standard curb and gutter. Because the businesses were older, we did have to adjust the sidewalk in front of one of the businesses. That building was significantly lower to accommodate drainage. So we do have a transition of the sidewalk that goes down. Meets ADA compliance and it solved the drainage issue, but we did fix that gap closure ahead of the paving project. We're able to pave up to that new curb and gutter. Next slide, please. Some more of the project highlights, focusing more on the corridor project. So on the Weber side, you see the advisory lane there. It's the brick pattern that Yountville has on our crosswalks throughout town. It's a stamped brick pattern. We went ahead and created a pathway that connects from the Vine Trail down Weber across the intersection of Washington Street and onto Yount Street to encourage pedestrians to use the Vine Trail and to locate the kind of center where Town Hall is. So the Town Hall, the new Wyville Commons amenities, and to encourage them to use this pathway. Weber's not very wide, so it does kind of help with the traffic that we have there. We have a lot of vehicle traffic, bicycle traffic, and pedestrian traffic. So it's one of the improvements on Weber Avenue itself. On the Weber and Washington Street intersection, we went ahead and created it was a 2-way stop. We implemented a 4-way stop to allow for that access on the advisory lane. And there's a park right there in the corner, Vandular Park, that's also widely used. So that was also an improvement that we're seeing a lot of benefits from at the moment. And then sidewalk, some more additional sidewalk that we put in was on Washington Street adjacent to the French Laundry Gardens. There was previously an existing asphalt pathway that was not in the greatest shape, definitely no longer ADA compliant. So we went ahead and put in standard curb and gutter on that section of the street and put sidewalk raised up to the top of gutter elevation. And one of the photos there, you see already widely used by tourists and residents. Next slide, please. Part of the overall project as well, we wanted to include whatever bicycle improvements that we could. So on Washington Street, we're able to, at least in one short section of it, to add bike lanes from the Vine Trail at the corner of Washington and Madison, and then leading up to Washington and Madison to connect to either Madison that goes on to connect to Yon Street and Yountville Crossroad, or back to the Vine Trail as well. So small section between Padrone and Madison on Washington, where we would actually put bike lanes in. As you go south, we started putting in sharrows to encourage bicyclists to use the roadway instead of the sidewalk, to kind of reduce those conflicts between pedestrians and bicyclists on the sidewalk. And then on Madison, although it was not, on Washington Street or Weber, we were able to create buffer lanes to try to help those who use Madison from Washington Street to Yonge Street, then to Yountville Crossroad or to Yont Mill Road, which we see a lot of bicycle activity in that direction as well. Next slide, please. So our upcoming Measure U list is, we take the similar approach as we did with our Measure T, where the lower PCI rated streets, we try to get those rehabbed and those PCIs brought up so that we now fall into more of a routine rotation of maintenance for our streets. However, we want to make sure any utility improvements or any development projects that we have going on, that we don't try to rehab a road if we know there's going to be some sort of construction in the roadway. So this upcoming year, we are doing some microservicing streets so that we can better analyze those larger streets and make sure that we do the roadway improvements after any other construction improvements happen. And again, the goal is to maintain that 82, definitely above 80, possibly higher PCI for entire roadway network. Next slide, please. And this is probably not readable, but it is our full 5-year Measure U project plan list. We do have our handful of microservicing streets that we want to get done within the next handful of months. We might have to swap out a few of the streets for some of the streets later in the years, just to avoid any construction conflicts. But we do plan proceeding with the projects listed here in this order as best we can. Next slide, please. And this was from our last Measure T to show that we were able to meet the maintenance of effort for the Measure T certification, and will be able to meet the maintenance of effort for the Measure U certification. Next slide, please. And that's the conclusion of my presentation. If you have any questions, please let me know. And really quick, one of the photos here, you see we put a Vine Trail logo on the sidewalk at Madison and Washington Street to help guide people to the Vine Trail entrance, which is right there on that corner. So we're still trying to encourage pedestrians and bicyclists find different ways to really highlight those entrances, both on Washington and Madison and Washington and Weber. And thank you.
All right, thank you. There was some question about having a race for the best PCI results. I kind of think the town of Yountville won, but it's not over yet. We're not at 100. So, but thank you for the report. I'm probably providing you with a poor version of a compliment over how well you've done with your roads.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? Yes, Director Reed.
On that note, I just wanted to also congratulate our Public Works Department and especially Deputy Director Rosalba Ramirez, because she pretty much made sure these projects came in at budget and on time. And actually the timing of these projects was her idea, and it was like in a blink of an eye. We were all sort of steeled for especially Washington Street paving. So the job that she has done for us has been very appreciated by all the residents and all the businesses. So thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? All right, well, thank you again for the report. And that then moves us to a number of consent agenda items. Unless anyone wants to pull an agenda item, I'll entertain a motion to accept them all.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Williams and Doring. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Perfect. Well, then that brings us to actually, we have no regular agenda items. Are there any future agenda items for the taxing authority? All right, then I am going to adjourn at 1:38 PM. And immediately kickstart the NVTA Board of Directors meeting, calling it to order at 1:38 as well. All right. And working on making it 3. Roll call, I think we're already covered, but we do have some late people who are now arrived. So hey,
Yes, I can confirm
Not to point them out.
quorum
Why
from the
not?
preceding NVTA-TA meeting with Director Narvaez, Director Deasy, and Director Knight in attendance, as well as PCC Representative Devereux Smith. We do have a quorum and 1 confirmed absence from Director Eisenberg.
thank you. Okay, I'm not making any friends here, but call it just my unique style. All right, any changes to the adoption or to the agenda? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. Alessio and Washington, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, now we have public comment. So anyone from the audience that would like to make a comment, this is your opportunity. So come on down.
Good afternoon, everyone. Some of you know me and some of you do not. So I should introduce myself. I'm Mike Hackett. I live in, I'm a lucky liver in Angwin, but I've lived in Napa all my life, since all my adult life. I'm here representing the Save Napa Valley Foundation. We came about in 2016, and then in 2018, we did Measure C, the Watershed Protection Initiative. And we've been working as a voice to protect watersheds and our waterways since that time. And I think we've been successful in some arenas. Why am I here at the NVTA? Well, I want to talk to you just a little bit about an incredible opportunity that relates to Susquehanna Creek, which, as you know, is down by where the roundabouts have gone in. Susquehanna Creek runs under Highway 29 there. Susquehanna Creek is one of the most downstream tributaries to the Napa River, crossing Highway 29 right there. What should have happened then when that roundabout took place is about what I'm going to speak to you in my 3 minutes this morning. I don't see a clock running, so I might run over and nobody will know, but I'm used to the county's process. Historically, Susquehanna Creek was a premier steelhead spawning stream. However, during a stream survey 5 years ago, actually conducted by one of your board members, Amber Manfrey, who's here today, she can talk to you further about it, we discovered that the downstream of the culvert, which crosses the highway, was eroded extremely badly and created an impossible jump for fish that wish to spawn upstream. It's quite a lengthy, several miles of upstream spawning grounds on the east side of Highway 29, but they can't get under 29. There have been efforts by other community members, but given the warming of Napa tributaries during the summer, the ability to escape salt water is critical for long-term sustainability for our fish. But there's that 6 to 8 foot jump downstream of the culvert on Highway 29. And when we first identified this problem during that stream survey performed in 20 and 21, we were advised by the Napa RCD that the scoping session for the design remediation work would cost about $100,000. So we, Save Napa Valley Foundation, went to Sacramento and reviewed with a firm that some of you will certainly be aware of, at Dudek, they do a lot of this stream remediation efforts. And it was about $100,000 to do what's called a 10% analysis. And that the full engineering design would approach 7 figures. So we're talking nearly $1 million just to do the scoping work. We pushed the project off to the side, but in the last few days, we've discovered a document created in July of 2021 by Caltrans that provides a full design for the remediation. So to me, we got $1 million document sitting there that is useless And of course, that's why I'm here with the NVTA. It seems like a project that we can all agree upon. I think we can get this project done. We need to resurrect this document. We have been working with a legal firm that's also a public trust firm called Water Audit, and they've helped us analyze this process. We understand from your executive director, by the way, I want to say, full disclosure, Danielle was one of my daughter's best friends in grade school, so I don't think she'll be on my side, but she certainly won't be against me today. I do want to, not to embarrass her, but to say we're very proud of the position she's in now and the great work she's doing for Napa County. So thank you, Danielle. We would like NVTA's influence, of course. That's why I'm here. And this is the first introduction of the project, and I would hope that what my ask is, as I leave, is that on the April NVTA board meeting, that we can actually get this agendized and discuss it, and let's go forward. Maybe we can get this done, and that would be so exciting for all of us. And I'll just leave it right there. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak about this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll check in on all the other sordid details about Danielle's early years later on. Okay.
How does something like that happen from the board's perspective? Do we wait till future agenda items, or is there a discussion to get direction, considering staff capacity and other issues going on? Ms. Schmitz?
Yes, so if the board would like to recommend, or board member would like to recommend that this item be future agendized just as informational, I think we can, NVTA, that is in the realm, since it was, the technical study was done as part of our Sausco Junction project. We could provide an update. I think I would be inclined to offer, NVTA staff has met with Napa RCD to have them come to the meeting. We can provide kind of like, this is Sausco Junction project. This is why the Sausco Junction project never touched the bridge, the Sausco Creek Bridge. At one time, I think there was a design element that looked like it potentially would impact that bridge. And that's, I think, what spurred the technical study. But we did not touch the bridge in design, and the project, the ultimate design, did not have any interaction with the bridge. So that's why that work was not completed. So we can provide that information to this board. And then I would invite Napa RCD to kind of give an informational update on fish passage in general.
I would be supportive of that informational accounting and kind of getting a better understanding of the issues involved.
Yeah, and I'd like to see that brought to the board as well.
I'll third.
Okay. So looking ahead at number 11, future agenda items, we'll just put fish passage report as a future item. Okay. Any other public comments, in person or online? Okay. I will note for the record that we did, well, background information. Originally, we were going to agendize adoption of the Napa County-wide Active Transportation Plan. That has been continued for next month, but we did receive a written letter from Save the Bay with comments on the Active Transportation Plan. I believe we're passing that out to the board. And to the extent that we're going to continue this, that we have continued this matter to next month, hopefully we'll be able to include those comments as we have a discussion on that transportation plan in the future. They relate to the San Francisco Bay Trail plan in particular. Anything else on public comment? All right. Now we'll move on to chairperson, board members, and other comments. I don't have any, but we'll move to MTC. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Let me, I don't know how there's so much paper up here all of a sudden. Well, let's see. Oh, right, I was writing on the back of it. Okay, here we go. MTC has published a new Bay Area travel study dashboard with information on Bay Area travel patterns, and anyone can go online and look at this at the MTC website. It includes metrics like mode share, trip rates, trip purpose, trip length, how often people are working from home, and receiving home deliveries. And this information is intended to inform transportation agencies and the Metropolitan Transportation Commission when they're making decisions about transportation investments. And also worth noting, you can sign up to participate in this so people understand how you're moving around or not moving around. And remember, not moving around is data too. So, so anything you're doing or not doing counts, and you're welcome to participate. You can sign up online. The next item here is that there is now a state transit loan to hopefully rescue Bay Area Transit, which is struggling after the pandemic. And Governor Newsom signed AB 117 into law. This authorizes a $590 million loan to MTC to further Bay Area transit agencies and avert major service cuts for agencies including AC Transit, BART, Caltrain, and San Francisco Muni during the next fiscal year, 2026 into 2027. The loan is structured to uphold the state's commitments to awarded projects while minimizing risk to project schedules. If you have any questions about that, you're welcome to ask me. At the February commission meeting, the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, in a split vote, which we discussed at great length, approved the Transit-Oriented Communities Incentive Program to advance regional climate, housing, and equity goals under the One Bay Area Grant Program. The Transit-Oriented Communities, or TOC, incentive program supports housing near high-frequency transit stops. The program allows MTC to reward jurisdictions that have high-performing TOCs with additional transportation dollars. Napa County does not currently have any transportation-oriented communities. So instead, the North Bay Commissioners have secured a $5 million set aside for the North Bay to supplement each county's OBEG program. So you don't have to have a transit-oriented community to qualify if you're in the North Bay, where we have in Napa County none, in Solano, Sonoma, and Marin relatively few. So we have a plan B for our counties.
May I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Sorry, Director. So $5 million to be shared among all those counties that don't have any TOCs?
Yes, but this is on top of the OBEG funding.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah.
That's not very much money. That's why I was asking if that's a share, but it's on top of
It's a
OBEG.
share.
Okay.
Yeah, so. And then I will note also that SB 1087, which is transportation planning, sustainable community strategies. It's a bill related to roads and planning that is being moved forward by Senator Cabaldon at this time, is on the horizon. So this bill seeks to accelerate implementation of local plans for transportation and housing with streamlining and some carrots and sort of things. So if you're interested in that kind of policy, that will be heard on the 8th of April. And right now is a good time to become aware of what people are talking about and make your comments. From the Board of Supervisors, if I may. Go ahead. Okay. We approved Measure U funded Solano Avenue pavement and repair for the area between the north of Napa and Yountville, which is a long ways along Solano Avenue. We have recently expressed our support for further safety improvements on Silverado Trail following our pilot project of rumble strips. And at the flood district, the next phase of the flood project will break ground in mid-April, which is very exciting. So that'll be a trail connecting from the Oxbow bypass north to Lincoln and redoing the flood walls north of that area.
All right, thank you. Any questions about that? Dr. Doring.
Just a brief question on the terminology that's used, and I want to drill down a little bit on what a community is in transit-oriented community. What qualifies in general overarching terms?
I don't know what numbers they're asking for, but it's effectively when you center higher density housing developments around transit stops. And so it usually works best with trains or rapid transit. It can work with bus lines, but it typically works best with rapid transit options. But that's the concept, is that you're clustering housing around transit stops.
And the reason we don't have them is population?
Because
think,
we're
or-
about 100 years behind on development relative relative to the rest of the bay.
Ba-bum-bum. Okay.
Yeah.
On my mic, there you go. Yeah, so for this purposes, a transit-oriented community, TOC is housing around what we call fixed guideway, and fixed guideway is rail. So because we don't have any BART, we don't have the SMART train, we don't have Caltrain, we don't have Amtrak, we don't have any transit-oriented communities. And then there is another definition of a high-frequency transit stop, and that's when you have a main line. So something like our Route 10 or 11 that are regional routes that come at least every 15 minutes. So that's a headway. So we don't have any routes with a 15-minute headway.
So
Thank you so much for that more technical explanation.
Thank you. Well, we're starting the next 100 years here, so.
Well, and now, on the other hand, to put it into some perspective, there has been talk about the SMART train eventually building some tracks through Napa County onto Solano, Sassoon, Fairfield. And so there is some reason, maybe, within the next 100 years, probably, so that when we get caught up, so there might be something at the south end of the county. And the 5 million probably isn't enough to do anything, but it might be enough to do some serious planning. So it's worth it to think about it. So thank you for the report. And that gets us to ABAG. Anyone from ABAG?
Yeah, from ABAG, the chair of ABAG, Gabelia Ramos, gave a really good report last time we were here. We haven't had another ABAG meeting set, so I have nothing in addition to report.
All right, thank you. So that's the list on number 5. Number 6 is our executive director's updates.
Yes, I'm going to make this speedy. In your handout packet, there's the NVTA Spring Outreach. So I would encourage you all to take a look at all the upcoming events that we will be participating or tabling at. And then I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the transit staff and our communications staff, Emily, Cherrier, and Zyra, for participating in the Napa County Office of Education 8th grade career day last week. We saw over 1,200 students at our booth coming throughout the day, and we provided them information on transportation career opportunities, as well as they participated in some activities we have, like Build a Street, and took a quiz on which NVTA position best suits you. So thank you to the team. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions? All right, let's move to Caltrans update. Is that online or?
Yes, this is online.
Okay. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon, board members and elected officials. I'm Annie Muligi from Caltrans. I'm just going to share the slides. Thank you. So the purpose of this presentation mainly is to discuss the status of the director order of the culvert repair and State Route 29. So just next, please, just go quickly through the map. Next slide, please. This active projects in Napa County, the map and the list of projects is within the agenda for the board members to have a look at it and review if there is any kind of questions. I'm here to answer these questions. Total number of the projects, the active projects now is 41 projects. I'll go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So basically, I'm reporting the status of this emergency director order, which is the sinkhole culvert scour repair in State Route 29. And this was based on communications recently between the board members and elected officials with teams from Caltrans to address some concerns from the community surrounding the project limits due to the current daytime one-way traffic control. Next slide, please. So this director order project is located in Napa County on State Route 29, midway between Oakville Cross Road and Rutherford Road and State Route 128. And the Caltrans District for Field Maintenance, they identified a dip or depression in the roadway at post mile 23.54, and they reported it to the District for Maintenance Division. This was in September 10 to 2025. The nature of this work is done as an emergency need for this director order to eliminate any potential failure of the culvert and this section of State Route 29 with the risk of long-term full closures if this is not rectified. Next slide, please. The photo, which is on the right, it shows the State Route 29, which with the northbound and southbound. Currently, for construction, we are in stage 1 of culvert repair. The northbound is closed for construction, where the southbound is used for the reverse traffic in both directions. The photo in the left side, it shows just the collection basin to collect water that goes to the culvert that is underground, underneath the roadway, and it goes from the upstream to downstream. Next slide, please. These pictures has been taken in September 2025 that shows the extension of the scour damage at the north side and the south side of the culvert. This is due to the erosion of the soil around the foundation and underneath the foundation. And you can see that this void caused a deficiency in the structure with the potential of the collapse of the culvert. Next slide, please. Although the team or the construction team has initiated a construction schedule, there were some constraints on with updates on the construction, and one of them is the utilities, the existing utilities, as you see in the photo. So basically, there are one PG&E gas line and two PG&E conduits with electrical lines, and also an AT&T fiber optic. After discussions with the PG&E, they recommended keeping or maintaining the conduit electrical lines and the AT&T, and also only abandon the gas line. This was reported on January 2026. However, on February, after dewatering the water and to lower the water level in the culvert, PG&E was not successful to abandon or cut the gas line, and they had to revisit their plans. And then after that, successfully, they managed to remove this or abandon the gas line. So this was the first constraint for the construction. The second constraint is the weather condition in the beginning of the year with heavy rains that stopped the construction because they wanted to have like 3 consequent days to construct the sheet piles and the K-rail. Next slide, please. This director order is of the amount 1.9 million. This is from the shop emergency opening funds, and the total cost is 2.8 million. There will be a potential of requesting also supplemental funds if this amount is not sufficient. As per the schedule, the construction began in January 12th of this year, and tentatively the end of construction will be on May 21st. The scope is replacing the existing 8 feet diameter arch culvert that was built in 1953 with a cast in place 8 feet diameter concrete box culvert. Next slide, please. Now, this is considered the main slide in the presentation that shows the stages of the culvert replacement work. Potentially, there were multiple options. However, after discussion or going through with the structure designer, this is considered the fastest possible solution to replace the culvert. And it goes into 3 stages. The stage 1 is replacing the upstream head wall and the 26, almost 27 feet section section of the culvert. Now the traffic will be shifted into a single 11 feet wide lane for use by both directions of travel. This work is currently on, and the traffic advisory, which has been sent yesterday, it shows that the work will be completed by March 28th. Now, based on discussion with the RE, we are ahead of schedule. So basically, the first stage will be completed by next Tuesday, March 24. Then going to the stage 2, which replaced the remaining portion of the culvert, and then which will be completed by May 18. And then after that, installation of the concrete barrier that it takes like 3 days, with the full completion of the project by May 21st. Next slide, please. Where we stand in the traffic control for stage 1, currently there is a continuous one-way reverse traffic control. This will be up to next Tuesday, and then followed by full lane closures between 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. on Tuesday night in order to switch or as a transition from stage 1 to stage 2. After that, the 2 lanes will be open to traffic starting from Wednesday, March 25, after completion of stage 1. And detour routes, it's as indicated from northbound towards St. Helena, Calistoga, and also from State Route 29 southbound toward the city of Napa. Next. By this, I conclude my presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone impacted by those improvements? Any comments from the board or from the public? All right, well, thank you for the update. And it looks like March 24th is the date we can expect to see the 1-lane thing stop and go back to 2-lane.
Yes.
All right, well,
thank you.
Thank you for that report. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. We now have no presentations. We've already gotten some already. So let's go to consent. We have a number of consent items. Anyone want to pull them? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept our consent calendar. Thank you.
Second.
Narvaez and Washington. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, perfect. We are on to regular agenda items. We have one, Strategic Plan Development Consultant Contract Award. Director Schmitz.
Yes, so item 10.1 is approval of selection of Innovate Mobility to provide the strategic plan development services and authorization of a contract not to exceed $109,832. As a result of a lot of the conversations I've had with individual board members, as well as our JPA ad hoc committee, and the survey that I initially had sent out when I took over the position, there's been an interest in providing a clear focus for the agency in the near term, meaning the next 5 years, as well as provide stronger alignment with our JPA and NVTA's roles and responsibilities in the county in regards to the JPA. And so following a competitive procurement process with 12 proposers, NVTA selection committee made up of myself, Chair Joseph, Vice Chair Doring, and our financial director, Antonio Honorado. The committee recommends the agency contract with Innovate Mobility to complete this work. Innovate was selected because of their similar work completed with Bay Area transportation agencies and transit agencies, and their overall approach to the work, which really focuses on board engagement and alignment, board and staff alignment, as well as improved education, direction, and understanding of NVTA's objectives. And that concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay. And I'll give a vote of approval to the recommended firm. In reviewing all 12 proposals, theirs was the one that struck me as the most focused on, let's not get you a study, let's get you a roadmap, something that you can act upon. And, obviously, it remains to be seen, but at least they seem to be the one firm focused on an actionable plan versus a good-looking document. So I'm glad to see this moving forward. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Are there any comments from the public? Okay. Hearing none, I'll bring it back for board action. All right, Alessio moves,
I'll second.
Amber second. Okay, and free. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Oops, that gets us to future agenda items. I think we've already identified the fish. I cannot say fish passage quickly. The report that we'll hear from RCD and others. That brings us to closed session, and we do have a closed session today. So whatever we need to do to announce it and to.
Yeah, I can
I'll let
announce
you
it.
take it.
Board is now entering into closed session, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, 2 potential cases.